What is going on, people? Welcome back to the Top Tier Podcast. This is episode 79.
79.
Woo! With me today. Oh, wait, I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Brendan. You can, of course, find me on the YouTubes at youtube.com/Retel Factor. You can find this show, the Top Tier Podcast, at youtube.com/Top Tier Podcast. With me today, Benjamin Espinosa.
Buenas noches.
And Esports Money, Behr.
What's going on, guys? We're doing this shit, man.
Three-man show.
The three-man, the
Yeah, it's
BBB.
good,
Billy
man.
had to leave us.
We're gonna keep this intimate, man. We're gonna talk
It's
about
very
some.
I'm telling you, we could. I was telling you before, like, man, Bear, we could totally just podcast me. And then Ben's like, "What the freak?"
Yeah. Honestly,
You want me to leave?
I'm slowly getting the message here.
But no, all I'm saying is like, three man, no problem, man.
Yeah.
We could totally do
It
it.
is, man. Like most of the podcasts I actually listen to are like one-on-one conversations. Or
Yeah.
I know you.
yeah.
Again, I see where this. I know where this is going. All right.
Usually it's just me and Bear,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys just chime in with some bullshit.
I'll leave it like that. Last episode.
My time's valuable. All right. Flip the table. Screw you guys.
If you guys did not listen to the last episode we went off about wrestling and comic books. And,
Billy was very involved. It was good.
Yeah, it's really good. You just can't get Billy going off, man. It's been
Well, we all went off. I felt last episode.
Everyone had
went
their
off.
thing. Billy had his New Japan Wrestling.
really
and
interesting
his
world.
comics.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a world I'm totally just like oblivious to.
It is, and
It's
that's
fun.
kind of, it's cool to talk to people, whether it be comic books or other things that just, to see people's interests and to see their world and their perspective, what they love and what they look forward to after coming home from work. I think that's pretty
Yeah, 'cause
awesome.
I find it cool. Like, some people it's like sports, you know what I mean? And some people
Yeah.
it's wrestling, like
Some
Billy
people
or
it's
whatever.
like Twitch streams, There's
Yeah.
so many people who just
Yeah.
literally come home and just watch Twitch streams just
yeah,
to,
whatever
or leave them on in the background.
floats
right?
your boat, man. Only like it becomes a problem only when like the sports fans are like playing video games, you're watching video games. It's like, man, everyone like sports fans at the end of the day, they're just nerds too.
Yeah.
They're just nerds for sports.
Exactly.
It's different.
I mean, do they still collect cards? I know there was a thing
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the day.
That's the
where you
thing. It's
collect
like
cards.
we got our Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
Yeah.
right? We got our Pokemon cards. They got their baseball cards. Yeah. You know
They
what I mean?
got cards of other old men. It's like,
I wonder.
and you're hating on us?
You're okay. That person is dressed up as Goku, but you're wearing a jersey of some other dude. You know what I mean?
Some other man's jersey.
Some better man's jersey.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like esports and stuff. It's just how much it took off, and at the same time of how many games there are struggling to really make it, right? The one game that I called right away was Overwatch. When I first saw that game and I played it, I was like, I remember just mentioning it to some people. I was like, I guarantee you guys this game is not going to be successful in esports. And right now it's struggling. Like they might find that balance, and I really think they will, but there's some games that just aren't as fun to watch as they are to play.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
huge and kind of worst balance with a lot of games. It's hard to appreciate, what's going on the screen, while other games are just really stupid fun to watch.
I think they're like the only reason I think it's still a thing, kind of like Street Fighter V, is because they're injecting money into
They're
it.
injecting money.
You
Oh yeah,
know what I mean?
for sure. There's companies like when Yahoo was doing Yahoo Esports, they were looking at it as a long-term investment, right?
Yeah.
They were losing way more money than they were gaining from it.
For sure.
But it's kind of like a long-term investment, like you said, just to see if it all works out.
But it's a hard thing to watch. Like something like first-person shooters. Like,
Yeah,
for me,
it's
like
very difficult.
because there's so it's not just one screen. Like League, you somewhat get like
League,
things
yeah.
like it's moving slow enough.
Yeah.
So that you could see kind of things moving, and when there's the big team fights, I mean, you see it all as
Yeah,
well.
well,
Like
it's just the isometric view. It's easier to watch. You know
it
what I
is.
mean?
But
Whereas like Counter Strike, which I know is huge.
Yeah.
For competitive in the competitive scene. But like for me, I can't watch CS
I can't.
because it just jumps from one player's cam to another player's cam. They
yeah.
need like some sort of spectator.
Yeah,
mode.
I enjoy
don't know,
CS
man.
to a decent amount, and for me, what was my favorite was watching like Quake 3 Arena tournaments and stuff, and those were like one-on-one and just using rocket jumps and jumping through portals and just how you would chase each other down, how would you pressure each other. I feel like it still has a space and somewhere to make it work. It's just you have to do it right. I just thought for me when I first played Overwatch, I was like, this is a little too chaotic.
Yeah.
One
Oh,
and two,
exactly.
it's just like way too difficult to see until plays and strategies are really formed. Because hey, let's remember, League of Legends took a long time for the meta to be built and for strategies to be built and for counter strategies. Like there was a point in time, when TSM and CLG, they'd fly to Korea and they used to laugh at the Korean players. Like Korea was like a joke to them.
Yeah,
It was kind of like it was almost a joke. It's like, hey, dude, you play like a Korean. Like that was like a diss to someone back in the day. But look at them now, right? You got like Faker and all
these. They got the games figured out, dude.
They understand it. They broke it down to a science. And I feel like there's still room for that. Quake 3, definitely grew. And I feel like Overwatch can probably grow. I'm not a huge fan of the series, but I do appreciate it. I think Blizzard's talented as fuck with what they did with that game.
But again, it goes back to spectating. Like, I mean, the game, like, is freaking fun. Like, I was hooked on it.
Yeah, it's fun to play.
But, like, and so that's not the problem. But again, making it into something like esports where people want to watch it, like, unless you're actually dedicated to it or want to learn something. But otherwise, like, I tried watching like videos now and again, and I'm just like, forget it. Like, this is boring.
That's why, like, I think fighting games are like one of the best spectator esports there are.
Even something like Marvel, like I love watching Marvel because Marvel's even no matter how crazy it is, like you still see the whole picture. You see what's happening, and I mean when you have commentators like Yipes on it too, like
that's what I fight for, man. As in terms of the fighting game commentary, you need to keep it exciting, keep it hype. We got to look more towards baseball, where baseball they kind of have a lot more color and they joke around a little bit more. I feel like that's the direction we need to go for fighting games, at least. I don't want to speak for any other genre because people are already love it so much. Yeah. But then there's also a lot of people who just love just all 100% analysis and 100% play-by-play. Yeah. But I feel like the same people who like that are the people who don't know much about the game and they haven't seen much of it before. Because, in Street Fighter, how many times can you say, a crush counter, there's 50% of his life, and it's always the same combo. There's not that creativity, especially in a game like Street Fighter 5. It's just, you got to really understand where you're going to. Marvel, you could, you have the excitement, and then there's so much creativity in Marvel. And just if Marvel Infinite wasn't such a shit show of a fucking launch. The game is great, and it's so fun, but
I was playing it today, man. Damn it. It was so fun. I've been playing this new team, Venom Nemesis.
Yeah, that's right. You've been uploading some videos.
Team Big Scary Monsters, I'm calling it, dude, and it's fucking
good.
Awesome.
Dude, Venom, they did such a good job.
I love Venom so much.
They gave him a wall bounce. Yeah. So very easy to convert off of him through the air, and just like he's still the same MVC1 Venom with a lot of new quirks and a lot of new moves and tools. It's really,
I like him a lot.
Yeah, good game design and that aspect. So they're just doing so many things right, and I pray to God that the Star-Lord DLC comes out so I can play Nova Star-Lord,
hope the game lasts that long.
Hopefully it lasts. Yeah, honestly, but it's just going back to just esports. It's just there's a lot of things still being messed around with.
I saw that they're playing around with making PUBGs in esport and like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and it's like, man, how do you get 100 people?
Yeah,
and it's like
it's got to be all online with commentators on a scene.
I was listening to I think his name is Brendan Green or something like that. He's PlayerUnknown, and he was on the H3 podcast, and they were talking about making PUBG and esport, and he's like, my vision is like 100 computers set up and like in like an arena. Right, and then as soon as you die, you have to get up and leave. And I'm just like,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Because you need some sort of gimmick.
You do. And it needs to be like a lot of camera angles and seeing people's upset face. Yeah, and maybe
make the walk of shame, dude.
Yeah, and have a host on there because there's a lot of downtime in PUBG. Maybe just interview someone who just lost while the match is going. just to keep that. I'm thinking about it, man. Maybe that's not a bad.
You could probably find some clever ways to make it happen.
But it's just definitely that experiment process, and I don't know. A lot of people disagree with me, but like I still feel like we can't take we can't be imitating real sports as much as we have been with these sports. I'm very against totally trying to be like real sports. We have to say, hey, this is our time. We're gonna make our own thing here, and that's the future of esports.
It's like when they're saying like, esports needs to be added to the Olympics. I'm just like, why?
Yeah, no,
it's why? That just makes no fucking sense. Like, why do we need to feel?
At least not now, right? The esports are already so young.
Yeah.
Let us have some time to develop and find our ground.
But it's like, if you were to ask me, I don't think it belongs there. Just like I don't consider it like. I don't consider it a sport. It's an esport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that takes tons of skill, and I think it's very competitive. And I love esports. Mm-hmm. Like I've been like watching tons of Street Fighter and whatever. Like they just did the big Third Strike tournament out in Japan. It was hype as hell.
Yeah, those are the funnest.
And So I don't think it needs to be part of the Olympics or something to be taken seriously. It needs to be its own thing.
It's just like the reality is I don't want to be watching the Olympics. Like, you know, I don't want to watch like the Olympics to watch these sports. And I'm sure people who watch the Olympics don't want to be watching like video games. Like it doesn't need to happen.
They're two different cultures, man, completely.
Like if there needs to be like an Olympics, like then let esports have its own Olympics with like, you know, fighting games and like driving games if that's a thing. Like whatever games, doesn't matter. But let it, anything that's like video game related, let them have like their own Olympics.
It needs its own.
And there's gonna be a lot of people who are listening to this, and a lot of people who are gonna disagree with all this point because a lot of people wanted the Olympics because they feel like that's what's gonna solidify it as a real sport and
I'm sure a lot of people disagree
for people to take it seriously. But it's all point of view and it's all playing around. But I don't think we need like this crazy amount of lights and sets and everything. Like it's about the heart of it. It's about showing people why these games are so great. You know, I feel like Street Fighter 4, when we had a lot less money in the scene, we were constantly increasing viewers and player counts for these games, rather than in Street Fighter 5, where I guarantee you the numbers of online players were probably dropping and dropping over time. But we'll see. Arcade Edition's probably going to change. Arcade
Edition's in like less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna give it another shot. I know I said I was gonna uninstall the game after I lost the Forest. But
give it a go. Yeah.
But there's new things coming, man. 20 days from now. I think it's 20 days. Dragon Ball, man.
Oh, that's true.
By the time people are listening to this podcast, it might be already out, right?
Oh, yeah. When the hell does this go live, dude?
That's right. So if you guys are listening to this...
Then Dragon Ball might be out already.
Okay, no. This goes live on the 16th. So, this goes live the day Arcade Edition comes out.
Cool.
There you go.
So there you go.
And it's going to take a couple days to really figure out what Arcade Edition did right. And they're really changing around a lot of characters.
They are. Like, people have all new V-triggers. You know, some people have some new, like some people just have new moves.
I heard they took out like Necalli's like throw loop in the corner. Like that's huge, man.
Dude, throws are a huge part of his game.
Yeah, especially the loop in the corner. Like you really had to fear Necalli when he has you in the corner. So it's just a lot of little things like that gonna change. I hope Ryu's actually a character in this game.
I hope he's good, man.
Because I want to. I have actually like as much as like Rashid is awesome. I like the most fun I've had in the game was when I just started playing Ryu and just like it's just he's such a ordinary guy. You know, like he's just such a. I don't know. He's exactly kind of brings you back to the basics.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I had a great time playing Ryu, even in season 2 when he was bad, and like he was good in season 1.
Yeah,
he had like crazy good damage, but.
I think he has a focus attack now, doesn't he? Some form of focus.
Oh,
it's some form of like air counter theft. Totally forgot.
I've been pretty radio silent on Arcade Edition. I want to go in and just be like, "What?" I want to be surprised. I've been watching anything. Does Sakura come out the same day?
I think so.
On the 16th?
I think she does. Yeah, I think she's the very first character for it. So I do want to try. I'm a big Sakura fan. So
yeah, she's just classic.
You can take your Sakura for her.
Oh, Benjamin, don't quit your day job.
No, leave the joking to the professionals.
That's good though. That's good.
So it's 2018. It's a brand new year. This is our first recording session of 2018. What are you guys looking forward to?
Our first recording session of 2018? Didn't we just do a resolutions last episode?
Recording session. Yeah. I consider this the same session.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Okay.
What are you guys looking forward to this year?
I mean, for me, it's just seeing where my career is gonna be going with this. Like, you know, fingers crossed. I don't see why I wouldn't make it to the next season of Legends. But just to see what happens. I've learned so much in the time there. Again, hoping to hop onto another show as well and see like how different, you know, crews work. Because I mean, I've been on different crews when I was doing the crossover.
Sure.
So I do have a feel, but just gaining more experience and just gaining like a better idea of where I want to go down. Because I love costumes. Like that's the department for me. But you know, I can't help but feel that I'm just like, okay, but like I always want more and I want more, and it's just like, okay.
How does it feel, by the way? I've never asked you this. When you work on a prop or a costume, and you go home a few weeks later when all the posters and you see it on the TV, and you see it on the screen, how like fulfilling and like cool is that? I'm just curious.
It's an interesting question because I watched the show and I watched the show to kind of see the goof ups.
Yeah.
And I guess overall I feel proud, and that's why I tell everyone, I'm like, you don't have to watch Legends by any means.
Yeah.
But it looks great. Like, to be honest, like the costumes are, and it's nothing biased on my behalf, but like I see how hard. I mean, we all work hard, like the whole crew, but the ladies and just all the people in the shop. And all that they do is it's a miracle how they pulled it off. The costumes look amazing. Again, visual effects for the most part are amazing. There's a few things that they're bad.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're amazing. Like the hair, the makeup, all the work that goes into it. So for me, like I actually feel proud. Cool. I legit, like, again, the story isn't bad. But it's no Stranger Things. It's no Dirk Gently. Like there's better things.
That's still
to
so
watch.
cool though. Imagine just working on something or doing something, just being on the screen. Like I remember when Boris was an extra, and just seeing him. He was on a few big TV shows,
really?
And they for some reason they've always loved him as an extra. Maybe because he just got that look or something. So you just see him clearly walking by. Like I recognize my brother's walk so well. You can see his face.
He's gotta walk.
He's gotta walk. He's definitely gotta walk. So it's like I just think that's so cool. That's why I'm very curious to know what it feels. And
what shows was he extras in?
I don't know. I gotta ask him, but it was a pretty big show. He's been on a few.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and he'll probably show you the clip. I think he's found it and downloaded it before or something, because he found out the episode, of course, because it's kind of like fun and exciting.
Yeah.
And I remember, a while back, probably like 6 to 10 months ago, a good friend of mine was dating a girl who was like one of the main props makers for like the Warcraft movie that was all shot in Vancouver. Just showing me all the stuff she did, and I watched that movie, like the pre-screening for work. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a great movie, but it made some really incredible, like important props for the damn movie. Like, pretty much did what the half orc girl.
I didn't see it.
Anyway, she pretty much made like her whole outfit and her whole main props and her fangs and everything. And I was like, how does that feel to see in this multi-million-dollar film? To know that you
insane.
built all this stuff and they're wearing it and you see it on a. I don't know. I think that's cool. That's very.
I mean, and another thing for me is it's not also. I think probably what's just as important, if not more, is not just also what's on screen, but just off screen. Like yesterday, like I'm hanging out with the cast and with like someone like the sound department, and we're just like chilling on a Friday night. We're just talking, having a good time, like between like takes, and I'm just like, man, like I'm getting paid for this, like to just like have a good time, and like again, like. I'm like, I see myself doing this like
cool,
for the rest of my life, where it's just like being in film.
And you're such an important part of the freaking like costuming and all that is just like it's so. I'm just happy that there's still work for that, and there's still like. I'm sorry, I just totally cut you off, but like yesterday I watched like a 9 p.m. showing of Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro, and it was. So great, and just to see Doug Jones is always in every Guillermo movie as some form of monster, and just to see that was a real outfit and costume, and there was just makeup and just crazy things done, and it's just that stuff is so timeless. That stuff will never age. It'll always look solid on screen.
Practical effects and props
and I'm just
too.
happy
It's
that
great.
there is like appreciation and a cause for it instead of just CGIing everything.
Yeah.
So, anyways, sorry, Ben.
No, it's great. It feels great. It really does.
Yeah. So,
What are you looking forward to, Behr?
the show that we're all working on, just to make a few
that's
things.
right.
So maybe by the time this podcast out, people will know what it is.
Are you
But
gonna
we're
put a
not
trailer
sure.
out for you? Put a trailer.
I am gonna do a trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, I am gonna do a trailer. But yeah, just to see how a few things go. Just to have a little bit of fun, and obviously there's a lot of nerdy things that are coming out. Like I can't wait for Avengers. And, the Annihilation book that I was talking about that I've read already, but it's getting a little paperback reprint, so I'm gonna buy all that shit. There's some comics I'm looking forward to, and Monster Hunter World.
Oh yeah, dude, I could just talk about games all day.
Yeah, just so
Shit
many,
that's coming out
so many
this year, man.
great games. Even Days Gone and
Oh,
Spider-Man.
Red Dead.
Red
Red Dead.
Oh, yeah.
My god.
This year?
This
Yeah,
year.
dude, it's coming out in like this spring.
Because because I never played the first one, but I found out the story and how it ends.
Do you know the end?
Yeah, and
That's okay. It's okay.
But that's why I want to play the second one, because I'm just like a story like this. Like
Ben.
I want to know. I want to be in on.
I mean,
this.
it's Rockstar's fault for not doing an HD, a 4K remaster
Oh,
at this point.
God, dude.
But please, Ben, if you have the chance, just go back and play it.
Red Dead Redemption.
Please, just
Red
like
Dead
slowly after you're done
Redemption
Horizon,
is so
if you want to
good.
inch through a game and just play like an hour every other night or something like that, just give it a try. Just
Red
play
Dead's one of
because
my
even if you know the
favorites
story,
ever.
it's just a
Well,
cool world.
yeah.
You know,
I'll
and it
take
definitely.
Red Dead over GTA any day of the week.
Yeah, I love them both. I have a big fanboy for GTA as well,
Sure.
but
Heck yeah.
but Red Dead was really good. It started off super slow. I almost gave up on it
Yeah,
because
it does
there's
start off slow.
too much farm shit that you gotta
You
you
start
know
off on the ranch.
yeah, I was really getting sick of
Farland.
that, but it gets really solid for sure. Really solid. But I don't know, after also you're playing Horizon, after playing a game like Horizon, it's very difficult to go back to other open world games for sure. You know, like even my brother, who's a huge Horizon fan, went back and played like The Witcher, and he beat The Witcher, put like a lot of hours into it, but he was like this he's like, for him it was like, this game is not anything compared to Horizon.
Really?
And
Oh,
that-
dude, because
Yeah.
people love Witcher
They
3.
do.
And
Yeah.
and that's what I mean. I talk
It's
about
pretty ugly though when you compare it to
Oh, for
like,
sure. Well, you're playing the
yeah.
PS4 version. Did you play that shit on a good PC?
I mean, that's what I told because
That's true,
I
that's
talked
true.
to him about that. Like he played Witcher after he played Horizon,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, to be honest, like I would have maybe felt a bit that way, like
Yeah.
a bit like something's missing. But to be honest, the story on
That's
Witcher
good.
3, like I
It
love
is.
Horizon. The
Yeah.
story of Horizon is phenomenal, but you play the two games for two different reasons. Because
Yeah.
I'm playing both of them right now.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
going through them?
Because
Yeah.
because I play Witcher 3 with Damien, so whenever we're
Ah.
together we play it. But like the combat I prefer in Horizon, and
yes,
like
that's
and-
Witcher 3's
and-
probably
and-
weakest point is the combat.
Yeah.
and the visuals for Horizon are much better. But again, just the character and the story, like
Yeah.
I am so invested because
Yeah.
there's like your the choices you make do matter. There are consequences for some of the things you do, and just like it's brilliant.
It's
Like
really good,
and just
yeah.
the remaking of like even like the lore of some of the creatures you fight. Like I eat it all up.
Yeah.
And I finished the book,
I mean-
the first novel in The Witcher,
Yeah.
and I'm like reading, and it's all connecting. Like so, the book is actually connecting where I am in the story in Witcher 3.
That's cool.
And it's such good story. Like for anyone who even just likes reading,
There's a reason why I
do
cleaned
it.
up Game of the Year that
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
for sure. It was definitely like it
Did you
came
know-
out on the same year, I believe, of Fallout 4.
Oh,
and when
Fallout
you
4 sucked.
when you compare those
Well,
two games,
well,
you're
good.
kind of like, I don't want to say sucked, but it wasn't.
It sucked as harsh, but it
yeah.
wasn't. It didn't have the same magic.
it
Yes.
wasn't Fallout 3. It
No.
wasn't Fallout 3.
Well,
It was more of the same as the
the
problem.
issue. Yeah, that was the issue. It was like they used the same engine.
Yeah.
Bethesda
Right.
needs to drop that fucking engine, of course.
It was great in 2007,
Yes, 2008. Yeah.
but it's definitely showing its age. And do you know who would be the best person to ask for a Witcher 3 versus Horizon conversation? Would be my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because she is like 100% in both of these games.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna text her real quick and see which one she prefers.
She's played through. Yeah. Did she get the platinum in Horizon?
I don't think she did.
Then she
okay.
didn't 100% it. I don't want to hear that
hold
shit,
up,
dog.
Hold up, though. Did she play the DLC? Because I know she played the DLC of Witcher 3.
She did.
Because that's what turned me on to the game. Was watching her play Witcher 3.
Sure, the DLC. Yeah.
And then
I think your girlfriend's. I think it's back to Breath of the Wild versus Horizon. It's a style thing.
But
Yeah.
like even without playing Breath of the Wild, just what I've seen from Breath of the Wild, I can see why that would win Game of the Year.
Game of the Year,
And
yeah.
I wouldn't even feel bad even not playing it.
Yeah,
But
I
like-
mean, to be honest, but it's been split for a lot of people that I've talked to. There's a lot of people who just like the world of Horizon more, and Horizon also had a much more interesting story
Oh,
to
for
know
sure.
kind of the history and to even have the conversation dialogue. I had that Mass Effect / Fallout.
Yeah, I think
speech thing to it.
Horizon was definitely it was very creative in the world
It
that
was
it built, and
yeah,
they
really
built that
creative.
world from the ground
Yeah.
up. That's all
Yeah.
original.
So if anyone were to
respect
come
that
up to
a
me and
lot.
tell me that Horizons, you cannot argue that.
No,
you
for
just
sure.
can't.
No,
And
I
No.
totally
Yeah.
agree with that.
so I think they're both just.
But they're both.
well,
You're
phenomenal
comparing
games.
two
Yeah.
of
And
the
I think
best games
that's
of
the
the
same
generation.
thing. That's the same thing with Witcher. It's just a style thing, whatever you're into. Because don't get me wrong, my brother Boris, he's a really hardcore gamer. He played the shit out of Witcher as well.
Yeah.
Like he really went
He
through
did.
it.
So because
He didn't like rush through it and like tippy toe over things. He really played through it and he enjoyed it. But I can totally see because while I was watching him play, I can't lie, I was kind of like, damn, this kind of looks like the combat and everything. But I know the story was, and that's a huge part of it. The story is S tier. It's amazing.
And that's why, like, and it's not saying the combat is awful, but I mean, definitely
Yeah.
compared to Horizon, it is much weaker.
It is.
But like again, I can't stress enough that the
Yeah.
story is like it's
That's
beautiful.
It's like Witcher
it's
3,
well
man.
done.
Yeah.
And like it's because and what I love is there's some stories that don't matter.
Yeah.
But they matter to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
there's
have no impact on the world or anything like that. but like just like the Bloody Baron.
Oh
my god, dude! Just it's just like a small fraction, like one little side story in the game.
Yeah.
But dude, it affected me. I'm just like, what the hell? This is like better than most games' entire fucking stories.
Yeah. But so much happened because it's like one thing after another, and then when you finish it, you see all the consequence of all your decisions in this one storyline.
Yeah.
And
that's something a lot of games have failed to do, is to like have choices and then to have a consequence of what you did. You know, like Mass Effect promised that over the years, and I even feel like with Fallout games, there's a lot of choices and paths, and I like 100% all the Fallout games when I go through them, but like it's definitely like you don't feel the same consequence of what you've done. I hear that Witcher did that very well, for sure.
And again, I mean, when Fallout, like, don't get like Fallout 3 rocked my world. It changed my world. But like playing Fallout 1 and 2, like there was a lot that I know probably can't be done like with the newer games. But like 1 and 2 were phenomenal because your choices there really do matter. Like the whole world gets rocked because again, you can literally kill anyone you want. And it's not just the killing, but again, the decisions, and like you have a limited time to do things in the first game.
I love that. I love that when games, like, literally if you're in a town and you can just be in a town, and if you really want, you can kill everyone.
I did that shit in Fable.
You're gonna fuck it all up, right? But it's kind of like it's cool when there's a consequence. I hate it when you play a game and then there's, you know, an NPC or something you can't kill because they're a crucial part of the story or something like that.
And it's not the fact that you can just go up and decide to go on a rampage. Yeah. It's the fact that sometimes you screw up. Like where like it's happened to me. Like I screw up and then suddenly I got the whole village after me. And it's just like I'm trying to run, but you have to pop some people to survive because you haven't saved or whatever. And then it's just that makes dialogue for me. That makes a story of my own.
Dude, I remember I was playing Morrowind back in like 2003, and I remember you can do anything in that game. It's insane. It's amazing. Anyways, I snuck into some NPC's house, and I just looted the shit out of it, and I killed the guy inside. Yeah. And then as soon as I did that, a message popped up because apparently I had killed one of like an important story NPC. I had no idea. And I was like, and then like the fate of the world has been decided. I'm just like, oh fuck. It basically told me I just failed the main story.
Just for some pocket
but
change.
you can just keep on playing. Yeah, just for some rags and some garbage.
Just godlike.
That's awesome. Like again, but that's like a story for yourself. Like it doesn't matter for anyone else, but that adds.
And it gave you a choice. If it gave you a choice to keep playing, I'm just like,
it's really
some good shit. I'm gonna keep going.
it's all such immaculate game design, but at the same time, because of the success of all these games that we've mentioned, we're just getting too many open world games, and we're missing the point that like linear games can be really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, we live in such a time where we get everything. We're actually, I mean, yes, we're getting more open, like the open world games. But again, we have indie games. They're doing the complete opposite.
They are, but we shouldn't leave linear games only for the indies. I feel like, you look back at all the Metal Gear Solid games, except Phantom Pain, maybe. They're all linear games. Yeah.
To be fair, you also have stuff like Wolfenstein 2.
That's true.
Which came out, and Wolfenstein 2 was.
But like, let's face it, is Wolfenstein 2 selling well?
No.
Yes, and that's because we're so used to these. People are not going to buy a game unless they know they're going to get 60 to 80 hours out of it, which I think is fucking retarded.
Yeah,
because I would pay full price for a really, really good 10 to 15 hour game if it's amazing. Yep. And we're just never going to get that anymore. And now game developers are always trying to add artificial length to games by adding puzzles or other shit if they make a linear game. But the only way they can really sell a game is go up on that E3 stage and be like, this is an open world game. You can do it however you want. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, fuck, we've seen enough of this.
One of my favorite...
and I want it to exist. It should always be there. Hell, I can't wait for Project CD Red's next game.
Cyberpunk game?
Cyberpunk.
Oh my God.
That's going to be the craziest thing. But at the same time, I just want to see more Wolfensteins.
Yeah. Or even like Evil Within 2, man. I love Evil Within. Half of the game is open world.
I mean, Resident Evil was straight. It was Evil Within open world.
Evil Within 2 had a major.
Why? This is the bullshit. Why would Evil Within need to be? Why does a horror game need to be open world?
You know what's so funny too is like I read reviews. Some people they're like, oh, the best part was the open world, and some people are like, oh, the best part is the later half of the game where it's all straightforward and linear. And I'm just like, man, do you want though? Evil Within 2 is a very good game.
Sometimes I just want to get. I want to sit through an experience. and make the creativity through another path.
Yeah.
You look at, I'll mention my favorite game of all time, Snake Eater, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot, it's a linear game, very linear game, but there's so much creativity of how you can approach things, how you can approach every screen, to say it, how you can approach the bosses. Every boss, there's like 20 different ways. You can like poison bosses by feeding them stupid shit.
But that's why Metal Gear was like revolutionary. That's why it rocked the world. That's why it was the best of the best. Like because it was straightforward. But at the same time, there was so many ways you could go. There was no one route. There was several, and that's what it was. Like again, you're sneaking into a base. Like how you gonna go about it? You can go guns blazing.
Exactly.
But there was the challenge where it's just like you can go full stealth. You can actually play this game and not kill anyone except for the bosses.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. And and same. I mean, for me, Snake Eater was hands down my favorite.
Yeah.
But again, like. Because I got to the point where I realized I'm like, this game is actually real life. Like because I'm finding this guy covered in I'm finding bees.
Yeah.
And I realize
the pain.
And I'm just like, okay, like if this is real life, I'm gonna be able to smoke out these bees like in real life. And sure enough, I toss a smoke grenade and they disperse. And I'm just like, I'm playing real life. This game is real life.
So many cool things.
And like and again, and I mean, it didn't. At least for me, it was a great game, but Phantom Pains, like again, like the gameplay, like you could do anything in it. Like
you could, yeah. That was a real open world game by definition.
Yeah.
Snake Eater's still not an open world game, but it was a really creative linear game, and that was all the Uncharted games are linear games.
Yeah, very linear.
Last of Us,
a linear game.
But there's a lot of ways you can get through Last of Us. Like
you can,
areas.
but I'm just saying. But that's still you gotta say that's still linear. Yeah, that's the thing. The linear doesn't mean that it's not like you can't be creative with it. You're on rails, exactly. It just means that there's a set path, a set story. It takes you through an experience, but obviously each mission or each kind of checkpoint, you go at your own way. There's so many things you can do. Right?
I mean, even look at the original Super Mario Brothers. Like that's a linear game, like as linear as it gets.
Yeah.
But you can still hop. Like you can hop stages. I mean, from the get go, you can go and skip like 3 levels.
Mario Odyssey was game of the year for a lot of people too. And that it's just all in taste, of course, right? Like, and it could be done. I just feel like we don't get enough of it.
But again, I get it, but at the same time, we should be supporting these indie. Like, just like we shouldn't look down on the fact that only the indie games are doing it. The big companies should be doing it. It's like, well, then screw the big companies. Like, let's just support the indies. Let's give them their money.
Yeah. And like some indies are making like AAA quality single player games. Like
Absolutely.
Outlast 2 is like one of the best looking games. Like Outlast looks freaking insanely.
Yeah, we were talking about indies last episode and like how they are some of our favorite titles by a long shot
like,
for sure.
Like, did you guys play Darkest Dungeon?
No, dude, I have it on my PS4. You should download it. But it's been one of the ones I've been wanting to play.
Visually, they're just beautiful. Yeah. It is so beautiful, but the game is so hard that I stopped playing it because I was too scared to lose. Because like I built up my character so much.
Yeah.
But like again, it's got like some roguelike aspects to it, but it is so freaking good. And again, like I mentioned last time with Lisa, where it's like a linear game. But there are so many choices like that you can make along the way that like affect the whole story like drastically. Yeah. And there's not just one, but the sequel as well to go with it. Again, Mark of the Ninja is a game that I don't know if you guys play it.
Yeah, I had it on it came out on 360 and PC first.
I have it on PC actually.
Like man, like for me still to this day, I'm like best ninja game I've ever. Like you actually
There's
were
a game
ninja.
Called Dead Cells that you should try.
Oh, Dead Cells is sick.
That I think you will absolutely fall in love with.
It's on the mobile, is it? Because I played that was awful.
No, I would not recommend you any mobile games.
Yo, I play mobile games, dude. Don't talk about mobile games.
But I understand the point you're getting. I support indies like no other, and I think it's still one of the greatest things about our industry right now. The reason why I'm just so about the big, market share industry holders, why I'm so vocal about having more linear games is because
they pay you, don't they? That's what you get this money, man. That esports money, pay Rudy.
That's what it is, man. But it's just because I don't want to see a lot of my favorite franchises start turning and forcing open world just to, because the consumers are so smart right now. And people read reviews, they see how long games take. And that's all. That's all the right to them. But I don't want to see my favorite franchises turn into open world games because that's the only shit that sells.
But then to hell with them. Like, do they really? I mean, I know it's a nostalgia thing, but we should just like cut the ties to our nostalgia and just like grow up from it and just let it go and embrace what's coming now.
That's true. But there is a sense of quality that comes from like games like The Last of Us that we will never be able to get in an indie game, and that's just because of sheer money, the amount of money they have. Right? You
that
can't.
Troy Baker money.
The money. It's the you know, having an orchestra, a sound like a soundtrack, and the actors, the motion capture. I mean, we're slowly getting there with indie games. It's getting better and better with, you know, Unreal technology, and you know, some indie games are doing motion capture.
I mean, there's like a renaissance in gaming, but at the same time, like something like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Like, I don't know if we're ever gonna get something like that again. Like freaking Metal Gear Acid, like for like, I've been wanting Acid.
Amazing game.
And, I mean, Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear, but I've kind of been like the way they've screwed over like. You know,
I've been meaning to go back to Acid 2 very soon, actually.
What else? Like, again, if there's a game I could remake, like it'd be Trap Gunner, again, there's so many games that I would love.
For someone who just shit on nostalgia.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then that's why I'm just like, whatever. Like, screw these companies. If they're not coming out with it, then just keep digging, and someone else is gonna come up.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name?
Yeah,
like Cuphead, for example.
Yeah.
Like, again, something they brought something that we love. Like.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think Cuphead, really talented team. I think it was a team in Ottawa, two brothers who did it.
It's a Canadian.
I want to know in terms of budget-wise, and these guys pour their lives into the game, right? To do art frame by frame like that.
One of them mortgage their house or some shit like that.
Yes, that's right. And I want to know if because I know Microsoft was a big part about backing them and really believing in that project. Yeah. And I think we really have to give kudos to them for. Helping out. I wonder how much money they really put into Cuphead and helped.
Well, it's
out.
like time is money, right? Mm-hmm. So the amount of time they put in, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, props to them. Really props to them.
And you can make like I think single player games that are not open world, but that are still super replayable. Think like something like the Souls series.
Yeah,
fuck, those games are so good, man. And they're not like.
How was Resident Evil was a linear game, wasn't it?
Well, Resident Evil.
I mean, you walk around the house, I guess.
It's like. Basically, it's a giant puzzle, right? The house is a giant puzzle, and you need to figure it out.
That's all Resident Evil games, isn't it? Like compared to the first one.
It's artificially creating the game longer because you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. Yeah. But it's like, if you know what to do in Resident Evil, dude, you can beat Resident Evil 7 in like an hour and 40.
But again, that's Resident Evil for you. I mean, all the game, like the first playthrough are always going to be long, but then afterwards it's just kind of like, okay, like how quick can you do it or whatnot.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm maybe a little bit bitter too, and Phantom Pain was a fantastic game. Like we played it recently.
It didn't need to be open world though. That's my biggest criticism.
The point I want to get to is the fact that I love Kojima.
Yeah.
I really do, and Konami's a piece of shit, and you know that. But at the same time, I don't know what the budget and the money was, but sometimes I can't really blame Konami for stressing because the game was in production for a long time. Games need to make their money back. Yeah, the Fox engine, which is a fantastic engine.
It's great, dude.
If the game was maybe linear and had a goal, a beginning to an end, we would have actually probably got a decent and proper storyline out of the game because that was the weakest part, which is a huge part of Metal Gear. But because it was so focused on the details and the open world was fantastic. Some of the best gameplay I've ever played in any video game till this day. Like, so much creativity you can have. But it still breaks my heart to look at that game and be like, there is clearly a chapter or two missing in this game.
It's not a finished product, dude.
It is not a finished product, but it could have been one of the best games of all time, if not the best game of all time, if it just had another 2 chapters and to wrap the story up properly.
I mean, to this day, it's the only Metal Gear game I haven't beaten.
Oh man, yeah. Well,
and I played it, man.
The game doesn't beat itself for sure. Like, there's no real ending.
Well, like I mean, I grinded and I was like so hooked. Like, and I loved exploring and doing all these missions.
So good. I put so many hours into that fucking game.
But it got to the point where I was just like, man, this is like suddenly too big for me. Like, and then I was just like, where is it going? And yeah,
exactly. The word too big is a huge issue when going into open world. That's what's stopping me from really jumping into Witcher and really getting me to dive into Horizon right away. I've seen so much of Horizon too. I feel like I got a really good grasp on the game, but damn, like sometimes these games are a little daunting. Shout outs to our boy Colin Moriarty, who was always
too dense.
He was talking shit about game, but you know what? I was kind of on his side. I know you were really against what he was saying, but I totally see where Colin was coming from, where he was just kind of like, there's just way too much, like to a point where it's kind of like you have to fully commit yourself to this
for sure.
To this game. But I understand though. I it's both sides of the argument.
I see both sides. Like for me, like I'm kind of the same. I see like, dude, I was trying to play Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm just like, this game is too much, man.
It's huge.
This game is too much.
That's right. I have Assassin's Creed Origins as well. I played a little bit.
But the game is still really good. And everything in The Witcher 3 is still really good. So can you blame a game for having too much of a good thing?
Exactly. Yeah.
And because some people, like, maybe that's their game for the year. Maybe it's really hard to. Maybe it's too big for you. Maybe it's too big for me. But it might not be too big for somebody else.
Well,
exactly.
Here's a same conversation but different aspect. Like Dark Souls, like twice I've played that. Like I played Bloodborne because you told me to.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like I love everything about those games except how hard it is. Because
they're all trial and error though. They're all trial and error.
And exactly it is. But for
me, you
can
beat that game at level 1, dude.
Yeah. There's a difference between. That's why if people hate on me, I never consider those games difficult. Like I consider them trial and error because you have to fail. Just like Mega Man. Mega Man was a hard game, but when you really know what to do in Mega Man and you understand the order and when things are gonna come out, you start to get better at it, right?
And hands down, I know you do. You do, but for me, it's just like I don't want to like invest this time, and maybe I'd invest the exact same time in like something like I did in Phantom Pains or The Witcher, where I'm exploring. But just I don't know, like that. That's just for me. Like I love like bullet hells, but something like Dark Souls, where I'm just like. You know what? It's just not my cup of tea, but I love it. But I do love it.
What the cool thing about those Souls games is like once you get good at one, it's actually easy to go and pick up the next one. Just because once you learn the game mechanics and how to properly fight in the game and manage your stamina properly, that's a huge part of it.
Yep.
Once you get those set of skills, you could actually play through them pretty easily.
No, amazing series and just a huge. I can't believe it got to a point where it was. I remember when Demon Souls came out and I was having friends buying that, and I remember going to my friend's place and watching him play. I was like, "What is this?"
Billy got me too, dude.
I was like, "This is." Absolutely the craziest thing I've seen in a long time. I just didn't expect it to be a game. I believe it came out in 2009 or 2008 or something like that.
I remember it came out, Demon Souls, and I'm just like, what the fuck? This game looks like it's stupid. It runs like shit.
Yeah, it does run like shit.
And then IGN gave it like a 9.5. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Then I remember I borrowed it off Billy, and I had his copy for like a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this game is fucking amazing.
Yeah. It just makes me really sad when I see all these reviews. And I see like written reviews and everyone compares a hard game to Demon Souls or Dark Souls. I'm like, man, there's a lot of, if you're going to compare to a hard game, fucking mention Battletoads or something. Mention some of these bullet hell games. Mention Ikaruga, man.
It's more relatable.
Contra. Yo, try playing.
How many people?
I'm going to tell you that there's nothing hard than playing Contra with Beirut. Yeah. I've done it.
What did I do wrong?
He's like, all right, we're going to play this. The first level, we're not losing any lives. Just do what I tell you, and we'll be just fine. Yeah. And I remember we're playing, and then we're doing pretty good. And I think at like the first boss, I like died. Reset it. Now that we're reset, okay, no problem, Benjamin. We got this. Okay, don't worry. That was a good try. We're gonna get this. And then we go at it again, and then I get shot again earlier on. Reset. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. It's good. It's fine.
Yo, let me tell you this. All right.
Yo, we gotta do a little let's play.
I love Contra is a fantastic fucking series. First of all, second of all, that was a lot of fun, Ben.
It was totally. Okay. I don't regret it.
Third of all,
it was great.
We might as well restart now, save your lives because the levels are gonna get way harder later on. And it would suck to get near the end and fail instead of just freaking getting through the end. Because I wanted to at least beat the game with you. Like Alien War, I know very well. I could probably beat that alone. Yeah. But I wanted you to be at the last boss and the last bit with me.
No, it was great. It was great.
It's fun. Contra games are just. It's sad that games like that don't really get made anymore. We have to focus on the indies again. Which is all good because indie, we had games like Broforce and stuff, which are
Mummy
Yeah, that's right.
A little bit of an update here from my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I proposed the question.
It's gonna be
Witcher.
It's gonna be Witcher. It's gonna be
Witcher 3. Probably wrong terminology. I said Witcher 3 or Horizon. She loves both of these games.
Yeah.
So I said, Witcher 3 or Horizon, which is better in your opinion? She's like, oh my god, the question of the century. LOL. They're both great games. I like the Witcher lore, but Horizon's story is amazing, and it had more of an impact on me.
Oh, so Horizon.
And I'm just like, more than The Witcher? She's like, yes, but I still really love The Witcher. Fuck,
Ooh.
I don't think I can choose.
But and that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, like,
I'm really surprised, by the way, because I know your girlfriend loved The Witcher.
But
I was expecting, because when you
Witcher
first have that initial game, even like with me and Snake Eater, you kind of have a little bit of bias because you had that special moment with it, whether it made you cry, made you laugh.
Maybe it's because she played Horizon more recently.
No, I don't think that affects it. When you play a game more recently, I really do think in the grand spectrum of things, I need to play both of them too, like all the way through.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen and what I've experienced, I think Horizon is more. It's just it had a few years on it too.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Right?
So, like, I can see why people would say Horizon's a better game, and again, right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you. All I can tell you is I love the character Geralt. The main character, like, that's what makes the game for me. It's him and how he interacts. Like, this character is so well written.
It's cool. I really hate his voice, though. I'll tell you guys that much. It's really cheeseball.
They kept the same voice actor.
That's why, no offense to the voice actor. Nobody kill me or anything. But, dude, he's just, I can't take him seriously when he talks. And I know the story's good, but Ashley Birch is a million times better as Aloy in Horizon. But... anyways,
well,
I'm just.
right.
I
agree with you on that.
Yeah, and so be it. But like again, like I can't legit can't stress it. Geralt as a character and just the world and what it comes down to is, well, I mean maybe it's not a good argument at all, but I feel Horizon's more like of a sci-fi opposed to Witcher being fantasy.
Yeah.
So again, it's
totally
like, well, where like
it's all taste, man.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
comes down to
exactly.
it.
And that's why like I think both games are phenomenal. If you're looking for story-driven games, like here's your pick. Like
it is, yeah. I mean, we've talked to Lou too. Like Lou was not a big fan of the Jurassic technology that Horizon was, but at the same time, I personally love it.
I thought it was cool.
I think that's fucking
but
so
it's all,
dope,
it's all
right?
taste.
But it's all.
It's like someone said, I'm not into that, swords and magic and monsters of The Witcher. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm a huge nut for cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
I buy anything cyberpunk. I ordered read-only memories off of limited run games without even playing it because I just wanted to support a cyberpunk game and I don't need to go through it. But
I mean, it's true. But I see you got the Billy Idol album Cyberpunk.
Ben,
anything
don't
cyberpunk?
quit your day job. This is number 2, man.
Leave the jokes to the
But yeah, at the end of the day, we're just having an open world talk, and it's all comes to taste. And each individual person who's going to listen to this, I guarantee there's going to be a lot of people who love Witcher, a lot of people who love Horizon, a lot of people probably love Assassin's Creed. And, Assassin's Creed, there's a lot of people who...
Origins is one of the best Assassin's Creed games in like 4 years since Black Flag.
And there's a lot of people I know who went through it fast and are now going back to it and really taking their time with it, because we are going back to the digestion thing. People are consuming these games so fast that they don't even get to appreciate this crazy open world.
There's like a huge new open world game every month. It's like insane.
Yeah.
So, and like a lot of people will probably disagree with us. A lot of people will probably be like, man, I want open world this, open world that, blah, blah, blah. More open world shit.
Yeah.
And
I just want the balance. I really want the balance. I don't want every
I want all
AAA.
game types.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
People, live your own lives.
Yeah.
And
stop asking for open world. Live your life.
Sometimes it's up to an indie to Nintendo wasn't making F-Zero. So you got fast racing.
Oh, don't even get started. I was actually we were playing right before I came here. My girlfriend's brother was over, and we were playing the SNES Classic, and we were playing F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, and I was just thinking about F-Zero, and I was so bitter. Like that's what I'm just very bitter about certain things of how we go through these trends, and then the trends aren't cool anymore, and then that whole genre kind of dies. Yeah. Like look what happened to Call of Duty. Like
still doing well.
It's still doing well, but it's not really taken as seriously.
Doesn't have the same mind share as it did before. For
exactly.
We're gonna move on to some email questions. We talked about open world games for like 45 minutes.
Okay. That's good. It's good.
It's good. And people, if you guys want your questions read on the show, send them in to toptierpodcast@gmail.com. This is a question from your boy Ryan. Hey, Top Tier crew. 2016 was the year of celebrity deaths. 2017 was the year of celebrity sex scandals.
Really?
Now that 2018 is here, what do you think will be the worrying trend? Anyways, hope you have an awesome New Year's from your boy Ryan.
Well, I mean, there's already been Well,
It's like
no,
in
no,
2016.
I guess that's not true. I mean, I see what you mean with celebrity set scandals because there was a whole Bill Cosby.
Well, it was the
we-
Cosby, and the Weinstein, and
exactly. We ended with the Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, and I mean that's gonna continue on through this year.
well, those things should keep on getting exposed. I think
it's
Yeah.
it's good to weed all that shit out, right?
Exactly, we should, and so I don't know. I think that's just gonna continue. It's gonna. This
It's
is not
very
the end.
difficult. Yeah, it's so hard to predict these things
Yeah.
because you never know, right? Like there's just a lot of people who've had sex scandals before,
Yeah.
but it just the timing wasn't right, so they weren't, impaled for it.
Yeah.
Like they were, like someone as fucking retarded as like Steven Seagal, he's had many sexual harassment allegations, and he's had like just assistants that he just messed around with, but you don't hear his name in the conversation because obviously it happened, 5 to 10 years ago, and it wasn't kind of the thing.
I mean, it's always happened.
It's always happened.
It's always
exactly.
been there. Like,
and it's
it always
very
has.
good that we're at a point now where we're, exposing the stuff and, like you said, kind of just
weeding it all out because,
Yeah.
well, obviously, like Hollywood's always kind of had that reputation of being fucking sleazy, right?
yeah.
And so it is good to like kind of bring in a new era. You know what I mean?
Bring a new
with
era.
none of that crap. And then it's like 2016. He says this year of celebrity deaths. I mean, there was a lot of big ones that year were very unfortunate, sad. But it's not like it's weird to call deaths like a trend. You know what I mean? It's like it's not really something.
And I mean, and I thought that too. And I was talking with Damien, where I'm just like, well, all these people are dying, but then.
People die all the time.
But I'm pretty sure, and that's the thing. We're just at an age now where we've lived long enough that we know celebrities, we know people, we're listening to music and watching movies, so we're just more aware of these people. Yeah. And then they die. Like for example, only like last week I realized that the guy who plays Kill Bill is dead. Like or who plays Bill in Kill Bill is dead. Like he died a long time ago.
Yeah, that happened a long time ago.
But exactly,
sexual asphyxiation.
Like and oh really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know, what a way to go.
Is he choking himself and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I
again,
heard about that.
but it's only recently that I really care about him, and it's just like, oh wait, but he's been dead. It's just that. It's just as you get older, you're more aware of people and whatnot. So yeah, people always
sad as it is, it's only going to keep happening more and more because we're getting to that point where a lot of the people who were very famous in the 70s and 80s, or they're getting to that age where, health problems come and they arise. And
I mean, the real question is, when is Behr going to have a set scandal?
Ben's on a roll. Ben's on a roll today. What's going on, man? We're hopefully never. Okay.
No, I've already seen it. It is all right.
Yeah.
You guys don't want to see
Retel
it.
sees it. Retel sees it all the time. But it's very hard to predict these things. I would love to hear a bit more of an outcry. This is a personal thing, just for maybe a little bit more diversity in Hollywood films and lead roles in Hollywood films. I feel like we are starting to see more, Chinese and like Indian characters here, but they're never a lot of the time the lead role. It's
It'd be
still
good to have Lou here to weigh his because he's got a like major opinion.
Yeah,
on this. He's been living it.
Yeah, it's very. Trust me, like me and my brother always talk about. We think that being a Chinese actor or even just being an Asian actor is like the hardest thing, especially to get lead roles. It's very hard. I mean, we went through a phase in the '90s in Hollywood where the Asian guys were always the bad guys, right? It was always some triads or something that were always the villains. You look like Fast and the Furious and like maybe Beverly Hills Ninja. Was it like Asian? I don't even remember. Like there's like a lot of these dumb 90s movies that were all just, just Asian people.
Rush Hour?
Always. Rush Hour, thank you. That's another one. The list goes on. The list totally goes on. And it's better now. We're seeing a little bit more diversity, but I would love to see more of that. I don't know why we can't have an Iron Fist where, the lead actors, fucking an Asian martial artist, like just I understand it's harder to sell, but they always take the side roles and they always add the diversity, but I always feel like they're just kind of the token.
They're just like the supporting characters.
Yeah, they're
there for diversity.
Exactly, they're there for diversity. But
at
at the same time, you got to remember, you look at Wonder Woman too, right? It's like, hey, your two main characters are still, Well, I guess Gal Gadot.
No,
Gal Gadot's,
she's,
yeah,
no,
that's true.
Talking about.
That's
Don't
true.
like talking bad about Wonder Woman for. They got it right.
But most superhero movies,
no,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, most
I
superhero.
mean, we'll look at the Avengers.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Like all, I mean,
80% of them, right?
Like I mean, War Machine got shot down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Black Panther's like the first one that's actually coming out and being like a big deal.
Exactly. I feel like African Americans have really surpassed that in Hollywood. They do get the lead roles, which I'm really happy about.
I don't know that they've surpassed
Well,
it.
no.
That's
Well, I mean,
they've overcome quite a bit.
They've overcome
come.
quite a bit. You get a lot of great movies with lead roles of
Totally,
African. Like,
yeah.
you know, you get the Get Outs, you get Creed, which was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
You get Black Panther. So I feel like they're in a much better state. You know, you get actors like Will Smith.
But after so long, dude. Like,
Of course,
and that's,
of course. But hey, let's remember that with Asian actors, we still have not got to that point.
No,
I still
no.
rarely see lead actors. You know,
I think especially now because China is a huge emerging market for movies, especially.
Yes.
I think like I would like to see that being one of the catalysts to kind
I
of
would
helping
too.
that.
I would too.
helping that
Absolutely. I
diversity.
just want to see it. You know, I'm very happy when I see, you know, the Big Sick by the Amazon original,
Yeah.
which I forgot the comedian's name. I'm so sorry, but I was just, you know, it was like, hey, it's an Indian dude who's the lead role. This is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
it's apparently a
but-
really good movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
But again,
Yeah.
just like, but it's in all aspects. Like at least in the media, like just
Yeah.
like video games, where we have these big companies in the indie.
Yeah.
Like again, like Netflix and Amazon with all these like small television series and
Yeah.
movies. Like we're seeing a lot of indie, and that's why and there's a lot of good indie movies out there
Yeah.
and TV shows. They just need the support, but
course.
just like
And
you just need to watch
I
it.
think we're getting there slowly. You know, I
Slowly
think we
but
are.
surely. It's not
We are
gonna
slowly getting
change
there. But it
overnight,
is.
right?
It is kind of a little thing that I think Hollywood doesn't talk about because it doesn't.
Well, obviously
Yeah.
Hollywood's not going to
Yeah,
talk about
of
it
course.
because like
Yeah.
they don't want to. I mean,
Exactly.
who owns it? Like a bunch of white dudes. Like no, I'm no
That's
legit.
true.
Though. It's a
Well,
bunch
it's
of
true.
like, white dudes. They own it.
You know,
so they
but
want
another thing, so a lot of people don't even think it's Hollywood's fault because all the time when they do have something like an Asian character as a lead
It's
role,
how the market responds.
the
right?
market doesn't respond to it as well. You know, it's kind of like it's almost like a cultural problem
Yeah.
that's just not spoken about. But this is some deep shit
This
we're
is very
getting
deep.
into. But it's something it's good to kind of, I don't know, talk about and mention.
No,
and,
it's good. It's good not to ignore it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, we
Hey.
need to. It starts with you. It starts with us. Like,
starts with
we
us.
need to like
Hey.
put our money where our mouth is and do
look,
something about
it took us until 2017 to get a good lead character female superhero movie, right? Obviously, we've had Catwoman and we had some
Oh,
garbage,
dude. Whoa.
garbage here and there, and those movies
But-
don't exist. But it took a while to get a Wonder Woman. There's people still who are hating that Black Widow doesn't have her own film of some sort. So
but, I mean, again, but I mean, yeah, I mean, we're getting places.
getting
I
there. We're
mean, look
getting
at Mad Max, man. Like freaking Charlize.
Yeah.
Like
Furiosa.
Furiosa, she's sick, dude.
Like again,
Yeah.
I mean, she's like
was she
was
supporting character though? She was supporting character.
I would say she's almost like I would
But
say
she-
like she's
Hey,
a lead, dude.
She's
But
supposed
but-
to have her own film if fucking Warner does. Apparently, there's some money being owed, so they're not doing the movie right now. But Furiosa's supposed to have her own film.
She was a more
Obviously.
interesting character than Mad Max.
She-
Now.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
She-
Tom,
okay,
I love
yo,
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
okay, yo, I love Tom Hardy
But
and
damn.
everything, but like, you take out Furiosa in that movie.
Oh,
You got nothing.
No.
Yeah.
No, the movie
She's
would
the
be
best.
nowhere
She's the best.
near
She's
as
the
good.
best,
But
yeah.
again, I mean,
Hey, that's me with the DC universe. You take away Gal Gadot, it's like that. Series.
dude, she's
it's
Wonder
garbage.
Woman, man.
garbage, yeah.
She makes
Thank you so
wonders
much for the
happen.
question.
Yeah.
Ryan. This is a message from your boy Crow/Hero.
What
Yeah.
up,
Thank you
bro?
guys for putting us into that really deep conversation.
No,
by the
yeah,
way.
that's
that was
great.
really cool.
Yo, top tier crew. This is the title of this topic is called "The Cancer of YouTube." So with Adpocalypse 3.0 happening, what are your thoughts on the Paul brothers? You know, Jake and Logan Paul,
Yeah.
and all this YouTube drama shit, especially with the most recent event of Logan Paul filming in the suicide forest
Yeah.
next to someone who has recently hung themselves. From your boy Hero/Crow.
Well, hold up. Bring me up to speed here.
Do you
Okay.
know? Do you know the
Jake and Paul, yeah,
Jake Paul and Logan Paul?
yeah, they do all those like Vine, the blonde kid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They were like Vine's no longer a thing.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah.
former Vine
But-
stars,
yeah.
and now they have huge YouTube channels and they're really popular vlogs, like daily vlogs. And I mean, all they really do is just act a fool on
Yeah.
camera, and you know, there's so many funny stories about like Jake Paul and like he rents like this house in like Beverly Hills, and it's just like he puts his address out to the public, and all these fans show up, and there's all these stunts and pranks, and they almost burnt the house down, and he's like,
The
it's
dude's
just
charismatic.
shenanigans.
I mean,
just shenanigans.
he's charismatic, he's creative, and he's got a ton of money. Like that's the kid. That's what he is. But hey, props to him. I'm not hating on
No.
it. I'm not hating on it. It's brilliant.
A lot of people like to hate on him,
Yeah.
and like I get where they're coming from. Like, dude, if you put like you guys remember me when I was 17, okay? If you gave me a shitload of money and put me in front of a camera, I would do some stupid shit. And that's basically the life this guy is living, right? The most recent controversy, did you hear about this? With Logan Paul, he went to Japan. And I think it was on New Year's Day, he posted a video. He went to the infamous suicide forest in Japan.
Yeah, it's by Mount Fuji, I believe, somewhere around those range.
Somewhere in the Mount Fuji area. And they stumbled across an actual, like, recently deceased, like, dead body who was hanging from a tree. So he hung himself, and that, like, it was fresh. He was probably only there for like a day or two, and it was just. Did you see it?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
you did. So it was like, he handled it in a situation. Like, when I go through a traumatic event or something, the first thing I usually do is, like, crack jokes. So I kind of get, like, how his behavior is fucking weird and whatever. But the big problem is he posted it on YouTube.
Right.
He posted the dead body, and he submitted, like, all of his fans basically saw it, like, subjected them all to this thing.
Yeah,
and
really bad editing too. The editor could have saved that whole thing, but it's also, I mean, he exposed the way he reacted. It was a very quite disrespectful.
Very disrespectful for the person who just took their own
and
life.
Showing him on, like, showing it on camera.
It's
a serious.
It was very exploitative.
It hurts me that this is the way that people found out about the suicide forest. I've done research about it like 5-6 years ago, and I think Vice did a very, very good piece on it. About people who who overtake the suicide forest, and you see people, because people go there and they contemplate suicide. They don't just go there to do it, but they contemplate it. They might camp out there, set up a tent, maybe be there for a few days, and then maybe do it or then move away. It's just kind of become that.
They have all these signs up, and
so I just don't even know what he was trying to get out of going into the vlog. It's a very good chance you will find a body if you go deep into it. It's like it's a big thing, and very early into their journey they found it, and just the reaction was a little disrespectful. I can't imagine how the family felt. Like if that was my brother or someone close to me, it would have been very, very tough.
You got some foreigner coming in and basically taking selfies with it, right, and putting it on camera and then putting it up on the internet. It's so disrespectful, and it's very just, he's using that person who took their own life to get views, to get clicks, and then he kind of issued this half-hearted bullshit apology afterwards.
It's I'm all for second chances, and he's a crazy wild character, and he needs to fucking learn from this. The saddest thing about this whole situation is, if anything, he's probably gotten more famous from it.
Well, exactly. I mean, you still watch his videos. Like, I mean, I had no idea of it, and even if I knew, I wouldn't watch it. Just like, well, if it's wrong, then like what that person wants is just clicks. So
we're gonna see. These are the people why. PewDiePie's situation, I was a little bit more defensive of PewDiePie. Like, it was messed up. He did do a lot wrong, but I felt like PewDiePie's a little bit more genuine. But this is the adpocalypse. This is why it's becoming so hard to monetize on YouTube. This is why when people upload videos, even if it's a video about, talking about baking, a lot of the time it'll be like, you'll get limited ads because the auto tracker for YouTube thinks that it's something not PG enough, So, yeah, really weird place that YouTube is in. And it's only going to keep getting more and more defensive with situations like this. I don't even know how that video made it through. It was on trending. That's the insane thing. So YouTube featured it in their trending section. Like, it was blurred, but you see. I don't know if the original video was blurred actually, because I saw a re-upload. I don't watch Jake and Logan Paul's videos, so I saw the re-upload of it because I had to know what the hell this was about. But
Billy's getting hype over some wrestling.
Getting hype all hour.
I just want to know about the. Sorry, here, Billy.
I know, it's very.
I just want to know if the editor kind of did that in respect when he re-uploaded it. So I don't know. I have no idea about the situation, because if he did really show the body and it was not blurred and you saw the face and it's I can't. That's just crazy to me.
Absolutely
I get shivers
insane.
Just thinking about how it's already just such a fucked up situation. But
and kind of tying into Ryan's question earlier too, when he sent in the question about what's the trend in 2018, it's just like, people are just gonna, like, these vloggers or whoever, just everyone is just so, they upload everything online. Everything, like, they put everything online. Like he didn't, it didn't even probably cross his mind, oh, maybe this isn't something I should share with millions of people. You know what I mean? But he's the kind of guy who is a vlogger. This is what he does every single day. He's, whatever happens, wherever he goes, he's gonna upload it onto the internet.
Well, I mean,
it's a weird new phenomenon that could only happen in 2017, 2018.
But I mean, just look at like the freaking president, like Trump.
Yeah,
Like just
tweet.
look at like how like
one wrong tweet.
well, like
could
just
start
I
a
mean, just
nuclear
like
war.
I mean, of course, like obviously, there's how people are gonna react. People don't care. People are just so insensitive and just not compassionate in any sense. But can you blame them when you have like Trump as their leader? And like, so like, yeah, I mean, it is shocking, but at the same time, not so much because. I mean, this is the way things are taken. We just don't care for each other. I mean, until we realize that we're all humans, that no one is better than another, that we can actually have love for one another. Until we actually get to that point, like this is just gonna keep snowballing and getting worse. Like, so, yeah. Again, it starts with the you and me. Like us. Like where are we putting our time? Where are we putting our money?
Like the like the the Paul brothers. Like it's hard for me to hate on them. Because they're just kids with way too many resources.
Money, and they grind it out, man. To be like that and to do a vlog every single day. It's a difficult thing. It's way hard. Like I can't even imagine doing that.
Yeah. I mean, in their situation, I mean, what I do differently, like I'm not hating on them, but again, if you're against it, then don't go clicking on their videos, like and watching it and sharing it and putting like comments and posts saying, "Wow, this is so messed up." Like
this is what I want to see for the future of YouTube too for 2018. I don't think YouTube's ever going to do this, but YouTube, if you go back to like 2009, 10, even up to like maybe 2012 is when they stopped. YouTube used to have a lot more categories to discover new talent. Right now, you go on the trending section, it's always either some music video, some really maybe controversial thing, and then like the Logan brothers, right? And it's so hard to find the people who have maybe under 1,000 subscribers who are making some amazing things, or like people who are just really like the search engine has become so much difficult. But when you go back, there used to be like most viewed in gaming in Canada. Most viewed in this category and this region, and like you'd actually show up, like you'd actually see sections and people who who are really grinding it out and starting to get, or like more most uprising talent and stuff. We need that kind of stuff because it's becoming more and more discouraging for a lot of people to get into YouTube.
And it's a completely different thing. But like personally, me, I love Spotify, and again, it's completely different from YouTube. But Spotify I love because it makes it very accessible when you find music you like, so then be able to find artists that are similar to that artist. And those artists aren't always like, your top 40. It's going to be like unknown actor. And again, and so
I know what you mean.
And that's why I personally love Spotify, and I don't mind giving in money to that, because ever since Groove Shark died, I was like, okay, I need to put my money and support something, and I put it in Spotify, and I think it's a great service. But again, it's finding those things. And I mean, YouTube, I don't know how we're ever gonna
we'll find. I mean, we'll see. YouTube is the almighty and powerful video service, but it's never too late for something new to come out and to take over. Like you think some services are safe and they're going to be there forever, but no.
Well, I mean, look at Netflix. I mean, Netflix was the almighty. But now there's Amazon. I mean, Hulu's been out for a while.
Well, wait till Disney does their thing. That's going to be a crazy
and
one.
They do, like everyone's doing their own channel
or it's like Facebook was the best shit, and then like Instagram came out.
I mean, before Facebook, there was MySpace.
MySpace was all that.
Nexopia or whatever.
We're just living in the rain, but like it's very easy for something else to come over and take over. Like Vine could have been huge, but it's just apparently just the people who were running it were not supportive of their creators, and they just didn't do a lot of things right, so it kind of just artificially died because of, I don't know, it was just really badly done.
Anyways, those Paul brothers, if you guys don't like them, the best thing you can do is not talk about them. Just like The Simpsons said, the only way to make them go away is just don't look.
Just don't look. Yep.
Anyways, thanks so much for the question, Hero/Crow. He actually has one more question. He asks about when are we going to get our Discord channel set up, and I will work on that, and I will post it in this video.
In the description. Oh,
nice. Get a top tier podcast Discord channel.
Speaking of which, check out our Instagram. It's a thing.
Oh yeah, Instagram.com/top tier podcast, and of course you can find us on iTunes at Top Tier Podcast, all of your podcast services, SoundCloud at Top Tier Podcast, as well. Support us over on Patreon if you enjoy our show. If you enjoy our 4 hours of free podcast content every single month, any little bit helps, and we appreciate it very much. Anyways, that's going to be it for this show. This was episode 79 of the Top Tier Podcast. Thanks, Behr. Thanks, Ben. And thanks you guys for watching. Peace out.
her.